Welcome to the myCOW podcast, and my name's Sean Bellamy, and I've enjoyed over 20 years working with New Zealand farmers with dairy nutrition and cow health. Now, a special thank you goes out to Advanced Nutrition as our primary supporter. The focus of this podcast is to be a vehicle for delivering relevant insights to dairy farmers and ag professionals, all to help drive cow efficiency and farm business profitability, because stronger businesses are more sustainable and help to build stronger communities.
Well, welcome everyone to the myCOW podcast. We're doing another farmer interview today, which is great fun. I've been looking forward to this interview for a while, actually. I've got Matt McDonald here with me, who I've got to know over the last probably sort of year or two, Yep. Met at field days and then had a bit to do with each other.
Big discussions at field days.
Yes, which are good fun. You're very innovative. So I've been looking forward to this interview. I just respect who Matt is as a farmer. And he's a very sharp operator. He's got a sharp mind, and he's very keen on innovation and driving things forward. So I've been keen to do a bit of an interview for you guys to hear his story and what he's all about on his family farm here in Gordonton. So, do you want to introduce yourself, Matt, and tell us a bit about who you are, the farm, and everything else?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. So my name's Matt McDonald. I'm farming on my family farm here. A bit about myself, or where the old farming journey started. I was always passionate about farming at a young age, and worked on the farm with Dad during my schooling years. And then in year 9, I got diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. So that was quite a setback to my journey into dairy farming. So I had the full stem cell transplant and radiation and all the rest of it. So that
did you say year 9?
Yeah, so in year 9 and then
I didn't realise that.
It relapsed in year 10. So I went through the stem cell transplant and radiation and all the rest of it. Spent my high schooling years recovering and getting through school. And then I was fortunate enough to get my university entrance, and I was awarded the DairyNZ scholarship. So that kind of gave me a pathway into university.
Mm-hmm.
And I studied a Bachelor of Agri-Science degree there, focused on probably more of the pasture side of the papers.
Mm-hmm. Which university did you go to?
I went to Massey University.
Yeah, cool. Nice.
And so after university, I continued with DairyNZ on the research farms there.
Mm-hmm.
I worked at Scott Farm, and that was during the Forage Value Index trial. So a lot of small herds and managing the benchmark herd at the time with Farm Watch that came out. And then, talking to scientists and all the rest of it. So that opened my eyes up to a lot of pasture management and just the way of dairy farming, really.
Yeah, cool. Man, that must have been quite a challenge, going from university to you're almost straddling the two, like your farm management, obviously with your family background, with the managing the trial farm, but you're also having to sort of work with the scientists. What was that like?
Yeah, it was good fun. It's leading science was quite important as far as the industry is concerned. So being part of it and developing and learning, it was all quite fun. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I bet it sort of fired up your passion for dairy farming yourself and sort of breaking new ground, I guess you could say.
Learning what to do and trialing things and saying that didn't work, and it was quite fun.
And it is quite an art, knowing how to, like, it's easy to say, I think we're getting a response from this bit of tech or this supplement that we're putting in or whatever, but to actually analyse it properly from a scientific angle, I bet you learned some good skills there.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, awesome. Interesting. How did you find working with the scientists on farm?
Good.
Yep.
They're down to detail.
Yes.
So everything's got to be perfect.
Yep. Which is hard as a farmer.
Yes.
Because you're dealing with a lot of uncontrollables, eh?
Yeah, especially when it's 14 cows per herd. So you're giving them about 0.1 of a hectare a day almost.
Yeah, well.
And then they come round at 10 o'clock and say, oh, they need a bit more or they need a bit less. So there's all communication's pretty much most important thing.
Yeah, it'd be a challenge though, eh? Trying to manage round lengths with tiny mobs and
Yeah, that was all there. So we were there just to put the fences up really and make sure it all happened.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Oh, would have been taught you some good skills and probably a lot of patience too, I could imagine.
Yeah, no, that was good.
Yeah, you seem like a pretty patient type personality though, so you're probably the right man for the job.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Tell us a bit about the home farm here that you're on now.
Yeah, so after DairyNZ, I had the opportunity to come home to the family farm. It's 74 hectares, 255 cows at peak. What's kind of special about this farm is we have a maize block. It's 8 hectare maize block adjoining the dairy platform. So that's quite a key part of the whole system working. So yeah, we have about 3 weeks of what we would call off-farm grazing. So we can put condition on cows pretty good, and that sets us up pretty well for calving.
Because you were saying once the maize comes off in sort of April-ish, it goes into annual, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that's your winter feed.
So we winter on there, and then we've got good infrastructure. So we've got a herd shelter that if it's wet, they come back and camp there. So they're in there anywhere between 4 hours and 20 hours during the winter time.
Yeah, cool.
And so
great.
That's a big part of our system.
Yeah, good facility, eh?
Yeah,
it's a beautiful spot. We're just sitting at the table outside here. I'm just looking at the cows out grazing, just right next to the maize, and the maize is looking good too. Actually, we just had a look at that. But it's good country through here.
We're very blessed to have this kind of a soil, because over that way is all peat and then that way is peat, and we're in a nice little block with pretty good soil. So
yeah, cool.
Can't complain too much.
Do you know what the soils are through here?
It's like clay at the bottom and then sand, salty sand at the top.
Yeah, nice. Awesome.
So it's good draining soil, but then when it gets too wet, it just acts like a sponge in the water. The water can't go anywhere. So but reasonably heavy enough to grow good maize and grow some good grass, which is ideal. It's good.
Cool. The maize does need a bit of effort though, eh? Not like on the peat when there's plenty of organic matter. Yeah,
we probably only average about 20 tonne here, so it's not as good as farms around here on the peat soils, but it's pretty good.
But the grass is more consistent and easier to keep quality on this sort of soil rather than the peat. Peat's hard ground, with ryegrass. Yeah. So 255 in the peak. You're still milking about 243. Did you say now?
Yeah, 244 in the vat.
Yeah. So we're end of January now, and they're still doing about, what do we work out? Nearly 1.7.
Yeah, 1.7,
which is pretty good. Yeah, with about 6 kilos of supplement roughly.
Yeah.
So you're still growing a pretty good amount of grass, eh?
Yeah. I made the decision to go on a 40-day round pretty early in December.
Yes.
Just with last year, we had a very, probably considered a bad drought, I suppose. So I kind of was proactive this year and said if it's going to be dry, I'd rather have the 40 days around, 40-day round now while we've got feed.
Yes.
And we're very grateful that we've had rain ticking away in January as well. So we're in a pretty good position at the moment.
Yeah, I think driving around the farm, you've done well. You've managed to maintain a certain level of quality, but have that bank of grass, because grass grows grass, eh? And we've had little dry spells, but then a bit of rain, and it's the cows seem pretty happy. They're nice and full. They got good appetite, and they're still. Well, I calculated they were roughly getting around 20 kilos converted into 1.7 solids, which is pretty reasonable. And that supplement's only made up with a couple of kilos of reasonably average quality grass silage, and then you've got 2 kilos of palm kernel, 2 kilos of wheat. Is that correct?
Yeah. And then a point of soy just to keep it in.
Yeah. Rumen loves consistency, yeah. So you've been here how many years, sorry?
This is my 4th season at the moment.
Yeah,
so.
Right. But you grew up on this farm, is that right?
Yeah, born and bred.
Yeah, nice. So you know the lie of the land well, eh? Yeah. Definitely helps.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, cool. And it's nice too, like your mum and dad live here obviously, and it's nice having that family connection and also even support too if you want to go away on the weekend.
Yeah, we Dad comes out, hoses the yard and helps shearing, calving, but if he doesn't want to be here, it's still a one-man gig, and I make it happen. So
we're talking like, because one of the reasons I like coming catching up with you is you're right into the data and you're very innovative and trying to sort of push the boundaries of what you can achieve. What have you done innovation technology wise over the last few seasons to sort of drive things forward?
Yeah, so the whole journey into my farming career here, the first year it was pretty hard to manage the grass, and it wasn't growing as well, and we were feeding out all the time, and I kind of looked at it as where can I better my time. I wanted to have a very good mating result, but the whole time management was poor, and with trying to have a one-man shed during mating and all those kind of things, we went down the whole wearable route, and we went on to Datamars collars.
Cool.
So that shows rumination, feeding, does heats and health. So that was quite a good moving point for the system.
Yep.
And so, how I manage and look at the data, I get rumination and feeding every day. So pre-calving, I just make sure the feeding and rumination are at a good level. I try and keep the rumination higher than feeding for the efficiency.
Excellent. So what sort of numbers are you hitting or trying to hit?
At the moment, they're over 500.
Yep.
So they're sitting around 500 to 550 at the moment.
Which is pretty good. Eating 20 kilos, going into slightly higher fibre grass. Yeah. But still producing well.
Yeah.
So ideal. And so you get feeding minutes, which is the same as eating minutes.
Yeah.
Or grazing minutes for halter. Yeah. So what are you hitting in terms of feeding minutes?
Probably 420.
Oh, yeah.
Plus.
Yep. Pretty good. Yeah. So the cows are not hungry.
No.
They're not having to work too hard.
No. Yeah.
And what would be ideal, in your opinion, for the Datamars?
It all comes down to consistency of the diet and making sure that rumination is higher than feeding.
Yes.
To know that what you're giving them is being utilised as good as possible.
Absolutely.
But anywhere between 400 minutes and 500 minutes of feeding is pretty on the money, I think.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And you're obviously marrying that up with milk production, the manure in the paddock, consistency and cow behaviour. Yep. So all sort of, they mesh together. I 100% agree with you. From a nutritional point of view, rumination really gives you an idea of how the appetite, so how full the rumen's getting, because obviously more rumination generally equals a more full rumen, but also rumen stability. So if the rumination is going down, but you're still getting the feed into them, then that can sometimes mean there's a bit of subacute ruminoacidosis, there's a bit of instability happening or imbalance in the diet. So 100% on the money.
Yeah, when during the spring, especially when grass is changing and we get bad weather coming through, my morning routine is check the activity with the 2 herds that I run, and if they've gone down in rumination or feeding, you kind of know that the next day increase the maize or just give them that little bit extra energy. So you try and keep a flat line as much as possible.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's not easy with grass,
No.
because you go into a grass paddock that's 7 or 8 years old, and then you go into a new grass paddock, and they're both same cover, but one might be 4 or 5% different dry matter, which makes a big difference in terms of rumination and rumen function. So that's smart. So you basically, the first thing you look at is those activity metrics, rumination, feeding, and then make your adjustments in terms of that.
Yeah, during the springtime, we run 2 herds. So the first herd is the old girls, and they get a hectare in the day and a hectare at night, more or less. And then I run the heifers all separate, and they're on about half a hectare a day. And that means I can sit at about a 30-day round during the spring. And that's one, beneficial for management, but then 2, it bigger leaves, grows more grass with a longer round, a faster recovery time. And then when the weather's right, I can knock 2 paddocks out at the top of the wedge and cut them for silage, and then they're in the round again. So it's kind of
perfect.
I sit at 30 days, but then as time allows and the weather allows, I just cut off the top and still keep pre-grazing covers about 3,200 or thereabouts. So
perfect.
That's
a great idea.
Try and hit every paddock at 3 leaves. Doesn't always happen, but it's all about maximising pasture harvest and cutting silage for quality as well. So.
Absolutely. And a big part of pasture harvest too is feeding a pasture that can be well utilised. Like if you're going in at 2 leaves and you're still sitting at 12% dry matter versus 18% dry matter at 3 leaf stage, the rumen flow rate's so fast, the cow can actually utilise all the energy out of that pasture. So I think your system's really clever, and it makes it easy too. If you're half hectare paddocks, you're more consistent with your feed allocation, which then gives you better results. And you're also monitoring that with the wearables, which is smart. It's almost like a backup to where you look at it and say, I think there's 3,200 there, but your rumination, your eating minutes have dropped. Then okay, maybe it was 30, 50 or 3,100.
The cows definitely tell you, and the wearables show it the next day. So it's very easy to know if you've not had the grazing as good as you should have.
Absolutely. It's easy to know you've over allocated because they haven't hit residual, but it's it can be the other way around, and they hit residual, then they're hungry, and you don't always know it unless you're looking at the eating minutes, or your feeding minutes.
What I like to do during my farm walks is be pretty critical of where I put the plate meter, and so if I'm plating lower than what's actually in the paddock, at least they get fed better versus the other way around. Especially during spring and leading into mating. So, and then just monitoring the data, monitoring residuals, and the way I kind of run the farm in spring, the cows more or less always go back, depending on where the next paddock will be. They always go back to the same paddock. And they start eating off if there's stuff left in the paddock, just to make sure the residuals hit, and then they all go to the next paddock together. And that helps with consistent body condition score and all the other things that flow through with that.
Interesting. That's clever. So you're saying before that you keep the heifers separate from the mixed age cows. How long do you do that for, and why do you do that?
It's partly to do with the size of our paddocks. Or else we would have to be allocating about 2.4 hectares a day. And I don't want to be on farm 24/7.
So you're setting up extra break fences.
I'd rather put a break fence up halfway and forget about it till afternoon milking.
Absolutely.
Versus shifting them the whole herd at 10 a.m. or whatever.
No, it makes sense. What's extra time means extra focus on the important things, eh?
And then it also just gives the heifers less pressure, and so you can monitor them a lot more closely with collars, and they don't eat as aggressively,
Yes, yeah.
so they might not compete so well with other cows.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing, when they don't, they just never compete as well at the feed face. So do you run the 2 mobs pretty much for the whole season, do you?
Yeah, so pretty much when calving cranks up, they're together, and then as soon as most of them have calved, or depending on weather and growth and cover and whatnot, I separate them into the heifer mob, and I try to do it at least 2, if not 3 weeks before mating actually starts. So they're all
give them a good break.
All into their hierarchy before mating starts.
Yeah,
and then I keep them in their 2 herds all of spring, and then when I want to extend my round length, so this year was in mid-December, I join them all up, and it works quite well.
Yeah, cool. That's a great idea. Gets them onto a rising plane nutritionally. Yeah. Coming 3 weeks into mating, or 3 weeks before mating, sorry, so that they're happy and there's not as much competition, and of course less stress as well. So you talked a bit about plate metering before. Yeah. Now we've talked a bit about AIMA, and why did you look at bringing AIMA in if you're already plate metering?
I think the biggest reason, being a one-man band, that's kind of my whole goal. So in time, every decision needs to be made like that, pretty much. So if I can take the pressure off the grazing decisions, or at least gives me a guide, that's a better way to go. And especially around your mating time, when you might not plate for 10 days, there's a lot of, when the grass is cranking, 10 days is a long time. If you just haven't been around to doing a farm walk. But usually every week, if not closer to 5 days, I'll do a walk if it's depending on the growth rate. And where AIMA fits in, it estimates each paddock's growth rate, and then gives you a cover and then a grazing plan which you can follow. So it just simplifies your decisions. So you can make sharper decisions because you have better visibility, more resolution on what the farm's growing, because it's giving you that predictive type measurement, and also a good and easy to follow system, I guess. And then it estimates your cover. So if you do a walk on day 1, by day 6 or 7, you've still got the most up-to-date information at the top of your wedge to make decisions on. So.
And do you find it pretty good?
It's very good. I've only had it since November, I think. But the AIMA vision, scanning a paddock, is getting more and more accurate the more time I do it.
Cool. So it's learning as you go. Yeah, cool. Interesting. Because I had, I don't know heaps about AIMA, but I know that it integrates weather information and a whole lot of other metrics to give you that predictive growth. And then obviously the more plate metering or monitoring you do in each paddock, the more accurate it gets. Is that sort of how it works?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Interesting.
Probably the best feature about it, especially in a spring setting, it'll give you the paddocks that you should be plate metering or measuring, and then it'll assume all the other paddocks.
Right, so if you've got 20 paddocks, it'll give you 12, 18 and 20, so do those 3 paddocks.
So it's what they call a partial farm walk. So you can do 10 paddocks, and then if you're time poor, you can do those 10 paddocks, and it'll give you a wedge for the whole farm to make decisions on.
Then the next time you do a walk, you might do another 10 or a few others. Interesting. That's really smart. Because time is is big, if you have more time to focus on the important things. I still look forward to the day where we have either a camera in a paddock or a drone or whatever, and it just does it every day. It'd be amazing, especially for looking at daily pasture intakes in the cows. Be phenomenal. So yeah, I'm sure there's people out there doing it. So we talked about, you just started talking about the soil as well. You know, when you came on the farm, you were saying growth rates were a bit on the lower side, and so you're doing quite a bit of supplementary feeding, but over the last few years, it seems like that's improved. What have you done in terms of soil health and grass growth?
Yeah, so my first year here, it was quite a wet spring, and typically we were saying the cows get a paddock a day, a paddock at night, and then the heifers get a paddock. And I thought that was the way to go, and we weren't hitting the pre-grazing targets, so we're always filling cows' intake with supplement.
Yes.
And I thought, oh, maybe that's just the season, because it's wet and grass doesn't grow when it's wet and miserable.
Yep.
And so the second year, that it wasn't as bad, but I went into a new grass paddock and I said, this paddock was grazed 25 days ago. There should be more than 2,800 cover in here.
Yeah.
So that kind of got me thinking there's something else going wrong here. Agronomics, Kanan came up and looked at a pasture sample we had in the winter, and he pretty much said, you need lime. So that was our biggest...
Something so simple, eh?
Yeah, so that was one of our biggest levers to pull. And then we got agronomics on board full-time with fert plans, and we're 2 years in to with them, and it's revolutionised the farm.
Yeah, you're not the only one to say that too. I've worked with Kanan a lot over the years, and agronomics doing some great work on a lot of farms. So what so I'm digging a little bit more detail now, but you know, obviously, you got your nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, your sort of standard fertilizer type products. What does Kanan do differently in terms of what he does in the paddock, or the agronomics team, sorry, I should say, versus what you were doing before? Yeah,
so typically we were just putting nitrogen on in the form of urea, and
like following the cows,
which
is pretty standard.
Yeah, pretty standard, and it kind of, Dad was like, oh, we're putting it on at X amount, and I was like, why are we putting it on that much? So there was a little bit of debate going on there. So part of one benefit with agronomics is they give you a fert plan right from the get-go at the start of the season, and that's pretty much the process of, it shows you how many rounds we'll do and what products we'll be using. And so all the decisions are made at the front.
Sure.
But the biggest thing with agronomics is understanding how soil biology works, and how soil biology relates to the plant. And so nitrogen isn't the only thing that grows grass. So we need sulfur and magnesium, molybdenum, boron's a big one. So we do 3 or 4 pasture samples each year, and that goes to the lab, and then we match up if things are functioning well in the soil and it's going to the plant. So that's one of the biggest changes we've made there. So we put more traces into the fertilizer brews, and that just helps all the minerals and makes the soil biology work better to grow more grass.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, with my limited knowledge, it's really it's like having an army in the soil that actually grabs nutrient from the atmosphere, breaks down organic matter, cycles nutrient, and basically just makes more available to the roots of the plant, doesn't it?
Yeah, so 90% of minerals need to be transferred from the soil to the plant, and the biology does that.
Yes. Yeah.
So if your biology isn't functioning, then there's something wrong with that connection.
Yep, and that's where you almost like your hydroponic type system comes in, where you're putting nitrogen on, and it's just firing straight into the plant versus working with the biology and actually getting an overall better result. Yeah. Well, you've obviously seen it in terms of quality of grass and also quantity.
Yeah. So in a way, because we're growing more grass now, we've gone from the supplement filling the deficit to now that the supplement is pretty much balancing the cow's diet more effectively.
Right. Yep. That makes sense. So rather than filling a gap so you can keep the cows going and almost managing condition, the grass quantity is better. So now you can just fill the gaps. So it might be a short drop in protein, drop in milk urea. So you can just put a little bit of soy in, or and that's where you want to be, isn't it?
So our system is kind of developed from, we were feeding out supplement before to fill the gap. So if we keep feeding out the supplement, we may as well feed out the right things.
Yep.
So
it's almost like rather than just putting dry matter into the cow, now you can actually look at the grass and you're almost fully feeding the cow on pasture.
Yeah.
And then you're saying, where are those small gaps that I need to fill, rather than having to actually fill the volume gap.
Yeah.
Now you can fill the quality gap.
Yeah, so with our stocking rate, it's about 3.4 cows to the hectare. And during the spring, I offer them about 16 to 18 kilos of grass. And last year, I saw the benefit of feeding maize, silage, and palm kernel out through mating. And I had really good mating results doing it that way. So this year, I said, if we're feeding out maize all year round, why can't we put the right stuff in at the right time? So that's where we went down the route of putting soybean meal in and then kibble maize for energy. And that's been very beneficial this year as well.
Yep. And the income over feed costs, palm kernel, obviously is a lot cheaper than kibble maize, but how do you feel that, obviously the cows have produced a lot more this season?
Yeah, we're about 8% up on last year's production, and last year's production was a record. And we're about 18% ahead for January. Mind you, it was a drought last year, but I think that peaking them higher and being able to feed them better has just maintained that level of production.
Yep. Yeah. Awesome. Good to hear. And the amount of supplement you've put into the cows, I know it's hard with a dry summer. Last year you probably had to feed them a bit more. Yeah,
that was that's kind of different mindset to the whole pasture-based system. Like, I'm very much pasture-first focused. But during the spring, because of our stocking rate, I didn't want to go through the September and October growing 50 one week, having to put the feed in, to growing 70 the next week, having to take the feed out. So as I've learnt over the years in the nutrition space, the consistency is what's the most important thing to the cow.
King, absolutely.
So it's king. So that's kind of where that's led to continue feeding the supplement out all year round. And even though we're still feeding out supplement, we're cutting grass silage at the same time, which is not really the way to go in terms of a grass farming. But in my mind, if there's surplus grass, there's surplus protein, which the cow can't process. So if you cut that surplus in the springtime and put it over into your autumn period, there's better bang for buck.
Absolutely. It's easier, with your 30-day round, but using the silage is almost like bringing 30 extra cows on the farm for a week just to keep your residual under control.
Especially with the fertilizer route that we're going down, putting less nitrogen on, and then grazing at that third leaf, and then putting the energy in. All those are a piece of the puzzle to getting a lower milk urea, and that kind of leads into a good mating result as well.
Yep.
So everything works together.
Absolutely. And one of the most important things is it feeds into feed conversion efficiency as well,
Yep.
which is sort of the next cab off the rank for a lot of farmers. Now that we're starting to measure our pasture more efficiently and our feed inputs, there's a big difference between the farmers I work with. Some are sort of 9.5, 10 kilos per kilo of milk solid. Some of them are right up at sort of 13, 14 kilos. So there's a big variation in how efficiently farms are converted feed into milk.
Yeah, that's another pathway I'm going down as well. So with the Datamars, I've got the Datamars scales as well.
Awesome.
So during springtime, which is not the ideal time to do it, but I weighed all the cows during spring, and that gave me a guide of how heavy they are. And come in time, I'll be able to say they've done this production and they weigh this much. So
cool.
I can start culling off that efficiency measure as well.
Awesome. Yeah. It's really cool to hear. There's a lot happening in that space, eh? It's exciting because that's where that efficiency, in terms of environmental emissions comes in, but also that efficiency drives financial profitability as well. So that's really cool. That's why I was looking forward to this interview. I think there's so many elements to what you do that are really clever. Sorry, just taking a little backtrack. Why did you choose Datamar collars?
The biggest lever there was time management around mating time and the accuracy of the heats. And then
so you reckon Datamar accuracy is very good?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And then also the activity as well.
Yes.
So
at the time, good metrics.
At the time, some wearables didn't measure the activity, and that was one of the biggest levers to pull. If you've got a collar on, you want to know what's happening out there in the paddock. And I quite like the Datamars system in the way, like financially, it's at least 5 years, and then after the 5 years you own the collars. So it's a cheaper wearable than all the other wearables, but there's that hope that year 6, 7 and 8 there'll be no cost and you'll still get the benefit of the wearable and then the updates that will come from that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Datamar is not a small company either, so they're well backed with science and research and development. And I do like their the weigh system that goes with it, walkover weighing. It's been pretty well proven, which is cool. Yeah, it'd be nice to see a few more Datamars on cows in New Zealand, actually. Yeah,
with around mating, because I've got that data there now, all the pre-mating heats are there, and so I can pinpoint the cows that need a setter or a late calving and haven't cycled, and then I can make a list of cows that had a heat and that would be having a heat in week 2, PG then. So all the data's there ready to go come mating time.
Perfect.
And then during mating, because I've got the data and the optimal window of where each cow is in their heat, I've decided to utilise that data even more and mate twice a day. Arguably, it doesn't make a difference, but from my experience, I've noticed a significant difference in conception rate.
Cool.
So, yeah.
So basically, with that data, it means that you can sort of push the boundaries a bit harder and try and squeeze that last bit of extra performance.
Yeah.
Cool.
So last year, I hit 78% 6-week calf rate, and the overall conception rate was 66%. But that first 3 weeks got up to about 69% conception, which was all based off collar data.
Yeah, awesome. So your empty rate is below 10%.
Yeah, about
Yep.
8% last year.
It's pretty good considering you're going to do close to 500 a cow this year, right?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
somewhere 480 to 500.
Yeah.
Depends what the weather throws at us, I
Yeah,
guess. But yeah, that's pretty good, especially considering, what do we work out? Last year you did 440 a cow, is that right?
yeah, 430, 440 last year.
Yeah. So it's quite a big increase in a year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see what next season happens. Well,
yeah.
time will tell.
Fine tune everything again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good fun. Is there any other technology or anything you've played around with on farm, or anything that you're looking at?
Yeah, we at the beginning of this season, I used Messenger chat for putting in carvings, and like we used Messenger a lot, but then we wanted more ability to record things. So I went down and had a look at the resolution app at the field days, and that kind of spun my wheels. It's a very simple, effective way of recording whatever you want to record.
Cool.
So yeah, we've gone down that route and used it this year, and yeah, literally anything you can put in there and it's got a record. So
Cool.
when we do fertilizer, we put all the paddocks we've done fertilizer and what rate and what the brew was, and then recording paddocks that have been grazed, and yeah, so everything's all there on the phone.
Cool. Easy. Yeah, those sort of systems are simple. They're ideal. It's been an interesting interview, mate. I knew it wouldn't disappoint, which is why I've been looking forward to it. But yeah, every time I come in and catch up with you, I'm like, man, there's a lot of plate spinning on this farm. Because you are definitely a man for detail, and you're always trying to drive things forward, which I really appreciate. Yeah, I'm much the same in business, and it just makes it more fun, I reckon. So yeah, life gets boring, when you're just doing the same old thing every day. So, yeah. Oh, that's cool. Oh, all the best for the rest of the season, and thanks heaps for your time.
Yeah,
mate.
thank you.
Really appreciate
It's been great.
Yeah, it's awesome. No, it's been good fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So yeah, thanks for jumping on, and we'll catch you again next time.